Hello everybody, my name is MOOLA SHASHANK and I'm a website designer and a developer. And I would be your educator for the full course of website development. And I'm basically a tech savvy and love to explore tech. So as you, if you would want to call yourself a full stack developer, then you are at the right place. Myself and my education. So the education I pursued for this course is Professional Diploma in Website Designing, Diploma in Website Development, Diploma in Video Editing. Education I am currently pursuing is Diploma in Mobile App Development, course in Artificial Intelligence, course in Python Programming. I would be teaching you all the courses I have learned. So let's get started. Web development, the full course. Let's get started with a very good fun fact. Did you know the average user forms an opinion of a website in just 0.9 seconds? That's quite fast, right? So let's get started with the lesson 1, that is objectives. Internet and World Wide Web, networking, web server basics, markup languages. So the overview. The overview of internet or the network is nothing but the internet consists of multiple computers over a network that communicate with one another using a specific set of rules. The internet originated from APRANET. So let me tell you something about the APRANET. APRANET was a network that became the basis for the internet based on the concept first published in 1967. APRANET was developed under the direction of the US Advanced Research Projects Agency, ARPA. In 1969, the idea became a modest reality with the interconnection of 4 university computers. So, the new use of the internet. As the internet evolved, the potential for various other activities have also come about in earlier days. We write emails instead of letters, we do casual browsing, we write blogs and also read blogs, we do online shopping and also sell online and about news groups and cloud computing. So, all these come under the new uses of the internet. Internet of Things (IoT), a subset of the Internet that includes computers and sensors connected to each other for communication and automatic transaction processing. The Internet of Things describes the network of physical objects, aka things, that are embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies for the purpose of connecting and exchanging data with other devices and systems over the internet. So to make it easy, let me give you some examples. The connected appliances around us, smart home security systems, variable health monitors, wireless inventory trackers, ultra high speed wireless internet, biometric cybersecurity scanners. So now let's go to packet switched network. In a packet switched network, files are broken down into smaller pieces called packets that are labeled electronically with their origins, sequences, and destination addresses. So now let's see the packet switching steps. First, the data splits into chunks or packets. Each packet has a from address to address and payload, that is the data chunk, the data in the chunk. If data requires multiple chunks, then the order of each packet is noted. Packets sent onto the network moving from router to router taking different paths set by the router. Each packet's journey time can therefore differ. Once packets arrive, they are reordered. Message sent from recipient to sender indicating that the message has been received. If no confirmation message, sender transmits data again. So as you see over here, from end users, the small box, that is the packet or the chunk, data chunk, moves to the server and then moves to the data center, then again to the server towards the application, and then moves to the application, and the confirmation note is given. Local area network or the LAN. A local area network is a group of computers and peripheral devices that share a common communications line or wireless link to a server within a distinct geographical area. A local area network may serve as few as 2 or 3 users in a home office or thousands of users in a corporation's central office. So a LAN, as the name suggests, works only over a small area. So it has a server and a few devices connected that can be, as said before, 2 or 3 users, from 2 or 3 users ranging to 1000 users. So let's go to wide area network now. And as the name suggests, wide area network spreads over a large area. A wide area network is a telecommunications network that extends over a large geographic area for the primary purpose of computer networking. Wide area networks are often established and leased telecommunication circuits. So now let's go to public and private networks. Public network, a network available to the public. It is a network available to the public and often less secure than a private network. Private network. In Internet protocol networking, a private network is a computer network that uses private IP address space. Both the Internet Protocol version 4 and the Internet Protocol version 6 specifications define private IP address ranges. These addresses are commonly used for local area networks, LANs, in residential, office, and enterprise environments. A connection between two companies that connects networks together and can be quite expensive. So let me tell you something about IP, that is the Internet Protocol. Now let's come to Internet Protocol version 4. Internet Protocol version 4 is the fourth version of IP. It is one of the core protocols of standards-based internet working methods in the Internet and other packet switch networks. IPv4 was the first version deployed for production on SatNet in 1982 and on the APRANET in January 1983. Now let's see about IPv6. Internet Protocol version 6 is the most recent version of the Internet Protocol, the communications protocol that provides an identification and location system for computers on networks and routes traffics across the Internet. So let's see the difference between IPv4 and IPv6. So IPv4 is a 32-bit IP address, whereas IPv6 is a 128-bit IP address. IPv4 is a numeric addressing method, whereas IPv6 is an alphanumeric addressing method containing both alphabets and numbers. IPv4 uses ARP, Address Resolution Protocol, to map MAC address, whereas IPv6 uses NDP, Neighbor Discovery Protocol, to map to MAC address. So let's come to VPNs or virtual private networks. A connection that uses public networks and their protocols to send data in such a way that protects the data, much like a private network. So it is used at public networks to give you a feel of private network and keeps the data as safe as when you are browsing through a private network. So the advantages of VPNs are it uses software to encrypt data transmission. The internet protocol tunneling creates private pathway over public internet. It's less expensive than a private network. It hides internet activities from entities such as ISPs. Now let me tell you about ISPs. It's nothing but internet service provider. An ISP is a company that provides individuals and other companies across the world access to the internet and other related services such as website building and virtual hosting. Intranets and extranets. As networking technologies became less expensive and easier to deploy, organizations started building more and more interconnected networks. The intranet is the organization. An intranet creates connections inside an organization. An extranet creates connections beyond an organization, that is to the suppliers, the buyers, the customers, the creators, etc. The internet creates connections between computers around the world, that is the most widespread. Intranet and extranet. Intranet, it doesn't extend beyond the organization that created it. Forums within organization to foster new ideas. As you can see in the picture below, the intranet has the following information: the access, the collaboration, the data, communication, private network, and information about the organization. And it can be only till the organization and not beyond the organization. An intranet is a private network operated by a large company or other organization which uses internet technologies but is insulated from the global internet. Extranet. Much like an intranet but also extended to entities outside the boundaries of an organization, such as business partners, suppliers, and customers. So, an extranet is an intranet that is accessible to some people from outside the company or possibly shared by more than one organization. So now let's get started with the web server basics. A web server. A web server is a computer that hosts web content or files that make up the structure of the websites. That is the design, the content, the order it should be in, all the stuff. And a web server responds to client requests by transferring files and scripts to the web client or browser, generating a response by invoking scripts and querying a database. Okay, so now let's come to the two-tier client or a client and server architecture. Okay, the two-tier architecture primarily has two parts, a client tier and a server tier. The client tier sends a request to the server tier and the server tier responds with the desired information. An example of two-tier client server structure is a web server. Now let's see the client side scripting. The script is run by client software, that is a browser. The code instructs the client to request the script from server. The processing occurs in the local device, that is all these script and the code is run and processed in the user's device. Scripting languages can include HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So, client-side scripting simply means running scripts such as JavaScript on the client device, usually within a browser. All kinds of scripts can run on the client side if the client device usually are written in JavaScript because JavaScript is universally supported. Server-side scripting. The script is run by the server software, that is the backend. So we get to know that the client-side scripting is front end and server-side scripting is backend. And if you know both, if you can do both together, that is one by one, but if you know both to script both types of files, then you're a full stack developer. Server responds to the client's requests. Server response is shaped on client's request. Ideal for hosting a database. The scripting languages include PHP, Node.js, and Python. Platform neutrality. The ability to a network to connect devices that use different operating systems. So when you're using a Mac device, then it travels to the when you use the internet, it travels to the Mac server and you get response to the Mac device back. And then if you use a Windows laptop, then when you request something, then it goes through the internet to the Windows server and come back. That's the neutrality platform of the internet. Now let's go to the web languages. So the key technologies of the web are hypertext, styling, and graphical user interface. Hypertext, described as a page linking system in which text on one page links to the text on other page. It's nothing but the hypertext markup language, HTML. It includes a set of tags which describe the relationships among text elements. Tags provide formatting instructions. Most tags have an opening and closing tags. So as you can see in this document, there are many opening and closing tags and a code is run. This is just an example. In the upcoming lessons, I am going to teach you more about HTML. Styling. Style sheets are a set of instructions that give web developers more control over the format of displayed pages. It is done with the help of CSS, cascading style sheets. It can be included in a HTML document. Single style sheet allows formatting to apply to across multiple web pages. It's usually stored in a separate file. And CSS is a computer language for laying out and structuring web pages of HTML or XML. This language contains coding elements and is composed of these cascading style sheets, which are equally called CSS files. In other words, cascading style sheets is a style sheet language used for describing the presentation of a document written in a markup language such as HTML. CSS is a cornerstone technology of the World Wide Web alongside HTML and JavaScript. So this is an example of CSS and you can see about this, the body, the font family. It shows all those and the color of the background. And this is just an example of CSS. You would be learning more about CSS in the upcoming lessons. So now let's come to the GUI. When HTML and CSS are both applied in a page, then comes the GUI, that is nothing but the graphical user interface. Graphical user interface is a way of presenting program control functions output to users and accepting inputs. It allows user to interface with the system. It determines user acceptance. It uses images, icons, and graphic text elements instead of plain text, which makes it more attractive. And it has a strong focus on UI and UX. So the UX design refers to the term user experience design, while UI stands for the user interface design. Both elements are crucial to a product and work closely together. The UX design include the graphics, the photos, the icons which make it attractive, and the user interface is nothing but the code that you write, that is the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript, PHP used in the website or the GUI phase. Okay, so that's all for this class. Thank you for all your support, and do check out the other courses out there in the channel. And if you want support at the course, if any query related to the lecture or course, do mail me at spnsavvy@gmail.com. And you can see the format over here. First you need to write the Gmail in the email block, and then in the subject you need to write query related to the lecture in brackets lecture number, and in second and space another bracket in that course name, and space another bracket in that educator name, and down you can write your query. You can see the format and sample over here as given. For example, sample query related to the lecture 1, website development, and MOOLA SHASHANK. So the next lesson would be about HTML to release in about a week. Thank you for all your support, and bye. This is Shashank signing off. Do subscribe to our channel for getting our updates and more about the course.